E-Hailing Council embarks on a protest today over issues affecting drivers and vehicle owners. They aren't happy about the high commission fees, the unverified app users, which they say is compromising their safety, and a range of other issues. So let's go through each of these with the KwaZulu-Natal E-Hailing Council Secretary General Ntokozo Buthelezi. Ntokozo, good morning to you and thanks for your time. So we've enumerated some of the issues that are taking this protest to the streets, and you're warning people in various areas in KwaZulu-Natal that there might be a cessation of those services. Let us start with what seems to be one of the biggest issues you have, and this is on the commission fee structure. When you go out, and tell me if it's different, of course, for Bolt and for Uber, how much are you having to pay to those app providers in those service charges?
Greetings once again. The thing of the commission is it's a structure that you are failing to understand, because these companies can take from 25 up to 50% on some trips, specifically for Uber. Uber takes between 25 and 50%, and then Bolt is 27%. So in that case, if you are to say in a trip, that's what maybe 90 rand, the driver is only going to get about roughly 48 rands.
All right, and so how does that compromise? I mean, it does seem, it seems quite high, as you say. There are some things that drivers need to take care of in terms of the fuel cost and the maintenance and so on. Talk to us about the impact of getting that amount of money out of that fee.
There are a lot of impact based on that, because if you are to drive for a distance of about maybe 9 to 10 kilometers for a compensation of 45 rand, and on that you still have to pay for petrol, you still have to pay for your vehicle maintenance, whereas these app companies are requiring the latest model cars.
Okay, we'll get to the latest.
So,
yeah, okay, go ahead.
Okay. No, you can go on.
We'll go to some of the other issues relating to the maintenance and so on. The one thing you said in the commission, in the current commission structure, was that some of these, it seems to be on a sliding scale, and some of the higher fees apply perhaps to specific trips. Just talk to us about what the differentiating factors are. All right, we'll try and get back our signal with Ntokozo. Can you hear me, Ntokozo? All right, we still don't have him back. He was joining us there via his phone, so that could account for the break in signal. And Ntokozo, I wanted to, thanks, we have you back. I was asking, you said that these fee disparities and these commission rates differ from, from trip to trip. Talk to us about where they apply and what that sliding scale looks like in terms of the percentage of the commission allocations.
We are really not too sure what is the reason for your commission to be fluctuating. But what we know is on some trips, yes, you do get earnings that are higher than other trips. But on some, they can take up to 50%. But we do not know what's influenced their structure. Because even if you contact them on support, they will tell you that the commission structure is based on Uber or Bolt guidelines, of which you do not know about.
So what you're saying is that when these drivers sign up to deliver these services for both of these app providers or these app-driven services, they aren't clear on the service level agreements, what's required of them and what the company is obligated to do for them. So you're saying this is discretionary and it's unclear.
Exactly.
All right. Just for our viewers to know, we did reach out to Uber and they want specific questions, so we'll definitely put some of these issues that you're raising in this interview with us to Uber specifically. We haven't yet heard back from Bolt. All right. So one of the issues you raised was the condition of the vehicles as well, because you have to change them after a certain period of time, and these are the age limits on those vehicles. What's the issue there?
You see, recently they are saying that they cannot take in a car that is more than 4 years. That is more than 4 years. So a car from 2020 going downwards is no longer able to be linked on the apps. So that is a disadvantage to us, because we still have people who bought cars for this business, but now they cannot operate using those vehicles.
And they haven't presumably paid off those cars in that term.
Exactly. Because now, if they are requiring a newer car, and the cost of that, because if you are to look at their specifications, a car that is what their specification is nothing less than maybe 250 to 300,000. But now, whereas you are making very, very little to less on these apps.
So what is the ask? I mean, what are you asking for? Let's just go back to what you're demanding now in terms of these two issues. The one is the commission structure and the age limit on the vehicles.
Okay, on the commission, we ask that the commission is reduced to at least 15 or to at least 15% actually. And to be stable at 15%, not that it varies from trip to trip or based on the driver's rating or whatever. And then on the issue of vehicles, back then it was the age limit was the vehicle has to be newer than 8 years. So is it 2024 a vehicle from 2017 is still want to operate on their platforms?
So, you know, Ntokozo, we focus a lot on the rider safety and for the rider to know what the identity of the driver is to ensure that, you know, these apps are verifying and vetting the drivers correctly in terms of rider safety. But you're also asking for driver safety and you want them to reinforce the app user verification process. Talk to us about that demand.
Yes, on that, you see, as a driver is vetted from year to year. You have to do your criminal record check every year. But now with customers, none of that is done. A customer may install an app now and start using it as and when they like, of which jeopardize the driver's safety. Because even now, if the driver gets to be hijacked or whatever happens, APS, as APS will tell you that there is no enough evidence on this case. They cannot be able to find the offenders. So we ask that the passengers are also verified using their IDs or proof of residences.
And how big a problem has this been in terms of driver safety from your perspective and what you're hearing from your members?
It's been huge. It's been huge. As if I will tell you, last week Friday, a driver was bent in a Toyota in an Etios in Waterloo. The driver is said to be from Phoenix, but up to now the offenders haven't been found, and it's been happening every year. Like in a week, you'll hear of maybe 3 incidents where drivers are hijacked or being taken off their belongings.
So, you know, some people, you know, might say, Ntokozo, you know, if it's such an exploitative platform, if these are such exploitative platforms, why join in the first place? Talk to us about how you respond to some of the criticisms about, you know, sticking with Bolt and Uber.
To tell you, if you are to look at the unemployment rate in South Africa, it's very high. So this has been a breakthrough for some people, as some people were affected back by the COVID-19. So since from then, many of us have joined into this business to try and make earnings and make ends meet for our families. So we have families to feed, we have vehicle to pay for, we have got bonds to pay for. It's actually a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. So this protest action kicks off today, and I think you're expecting it to last about 3 or 4 days. What is going to happen over the course of these days? Who are you meeting with from both of these institutions that you are making your complaints about?
Just to clear, it's not actually a protest or some sort of a strike. It's a shutdown. The drivers are instructed to switch off their apps and remain at home. But now you see, when you are going on a shut, we are actually doing a stay away. So, but with some drivers continue operating, then you are forced to go on the ground and to chase them, but not to fight them, to tell them this is what is happening. We are not satisfied with what these apps are doing. And then what can you do to go forward? But on the side of meeting these companies, we have failed to meet them in the longest of time. We send them emails, we send them messages on their support. We're getting little to none response from them.
2 things I want to ask. So what about drivers that say, listen, Ntokozo and everyone else who supports the shutdown, as you say, it just means that they won't be responding to trips. They say, you know, we're desperate, we want to carry on. I mean, what else can you do? Are you planning on doing anything else to stop them from providing services?
We are not planning to do any, but we have to negotiate and get them on the table. And also, to lay out our grievances to them, the drivers as well, and then they will tell us what is it that they want to do. Because leading to this shutdown, we have contacted drivers in the regions of Durban and Pietermaritzburg, and we got it from them that what is it that we need to do to fight against what these apps are happening, and then they said we must go for a shutdown.
All right, but for those who choose to carry on, besides talking to them, they say no and they want to carry on?
No, they will be forced not to carry on with the operation, but not in a harsh way.
What do you mean forced? So you can take their keys away?
No, we're not going to take the keys away, but they will have to stay with us where we are, and then until the finish of the shutdown.
Yeah, that sounds ominous, because you can't stop people from moving and using their own property. I just would put it to you that you would face some issues when it comes to that in Ntokozo. I want to go to the issue, which I think is also concerning. Do you feel that these service providers, Bolt and Uber, have been hiding? You say that you've been looking for them for the longest time, you've been wanting to talk to them directly, but you've failed to be able to meet them, that they're still subject to to the laws of our country and the territory in which they operate in certain spheres, even though, they're an app-based service provider. Talk to us more about your efforts failing in terms of being able to sit with them directly across the table.
The first issue will be that they have got no offices here in Durban or in South Africa where we can directly go to them. Because if you go to the offices that they direct you to, they say that they are agents from maybe a different company to deal with the issues. It can be technical issues or identification issues. But to have a conversation straight with them, we have not been able to secure that.
And how much does that concern you?
A lot, because we have been sending emails throughout the years. It's sending emails, sending messages on support, but there's little to less feedback that you are getting, which is positive from them.
And again, we will try from our side as well. And this has been my experience as well. Well, anyway, as we say, we have reached out to Uber, to both of them. Uber's responded and asked for written questions, so we'll send that through. But in terms of having that face-to-face, I must say it has been a little bit more challenging. I want to go to one final thing before I let you go, and this relates specifically to Uber itself, the Uber radar trips. What is this radar trip option about, and why do you want it removed?
This option is when a passenger requests for a ride is shown on a number of multiple drivers. Maybe 15 drivers will receive the very same order, and then they will have it's some sort of a bid. You see, when you bid, so they will all go for that trip. So that thing is identified to be dangerous and to be harmful, because now a lot of them will go for that. Some of them, they even get them even when they are driving. You see. Because you will see where you are going to pick up the client and where you're going to drop them, and the amount of compensation that you're going to receive. But that is taken by another driver.
All right, we'll keep watching this one. Ntokozo Buthelezi is the KwaZulu-Natal E-Hailing Council Secretary General, talking to us about their shutdown, their efforts to try and reach, some representatives of both these app service providers, and to raise their grievances with them. We'll continue to watch developments.